Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. Welcome to Sky Observers Hangout. My name is Michelle, and I am the Director of Public Observing at the Adler Planetarium in Chicago. And joining me from behind the scenes today is my good friend Jennifer, and she is our YouTube chat moderator. So if you see any messages hanging out in the YouTube chat, that's Jennifer behind the scenes. And if any of you haven't seen our message yet about, hey, where are you tuning in from? Let us know right now where you're tuning in from. I would love to say hi to you in just a few minutes now. If this is your first time at Sky Observers Hangout, Sky Observers Hangout is a place for us to gather together to nerd out about the sky. Our goal is always to give you practical tips that you can find useful about lots of things related to sky observing. If you want to just sit back and watch the show, that's fantastic. But we would also love to see your questions and comments in the YouTube chat. Feel free to interact with us and with each other. Now, to get this show started, tell me in the chat where you're tuning in from, and have any of you seen Jupiter or Venus in the night sky? Let us know. We'd love to know your observations. While you do that, hey, the Adler Planetarium is open for visits, not this very second as we're recording it at 5 o'clock in the morning in Chicago, but we are open for visits now. So Jennifer is going to put a link to purchase admission tickets in the chat. We hope you can come and see us sometime. She's also going to put a link to sign up for our email newsletter. You can also help us get more visibility for our shows by hitting subscribe for the Adler's YouTube channel if you don't already subscribe to us. And if you like us, give us a thumbs up. And now let's see where you are all tuning in from. Give me a second. I'm going to change one of my screens here and check the chat. Let's see. We've got Angela from Washington. My goodness, Angela, it is 3 o'clock in the morning where you are. My goodness, thanks. And we've got Karen from Kenosha. Hello, Karen. And Steve in Chicago, and Victoria from Germany. Hello. It is much later in the morning in Germany, a reasonable time there, right? So we've got Bradford Wagner from Chicago. And let's see. Oh my goodness. So many of you. So yes, continue to say hi to each other and us. We're so glad you're here. And yeah, we did see Venus and Jupiter in the sky. I didn't see them yesterday. I saw them the day before. It has been really cloudy here. So I hope you've gotten to see it. But if not, I'm going to tell you all about where and when to see the Venus-Jupiter conjunction over the next few days. So yeah, Karen, it's cloudy here. And Shahab, hello. And so we love having all of you with us. If you're watching this after we record it, hey to everyone there, we hope you're going to learn how and when and where to see a conjunction of two planets in the sky. So why don't we get going with the rest of our show, and we will continue to say hi all throughout. All right, that word conjunction might be new to you. Maybe you've heard it, maybe not. Oh, we've got someone from Elgin. Hello. So that word conjunction might be new. The original meaning of the word is joining things together. The function of the conjunction in the English language is to join two phrases or clauses together. The word and is an example of a conjunction. Now, in astronomy, a conjunction is when objects like two planets or a planet and a bright star appear very close to one another in our sky, as if they're getting ready to join together. They're not really joining together, but this occurs only at particular times based on where the planets are in their orbits and how we see them from Earth. During a conjunction, you can very roughly draw a line between you on Earth, one planet nearby and another planet far away. That's not exactly the case. There is some distance between them. It would be a squiggly line, but you can kind of draw a line to objects in the distance. Now, you may remember that conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in December 2020. When they appeared really close together. What we're now talking about is a conjunction of Venus and Jupiter. Venus and Jupiter won't be as close together in the next few days as Jupiter and Saturn appeared in 2020, but it will still be a beautiful sight. It was really pretty to see them a couple days ago, and we want to draw your attention to this. Conjunctions of Jupiter and Venus are fairly common, occurring about every 10 to 15 months, so about every year. But why are we pointing out this one? Well, for no other reason, why not? Conjunctions are a great opportunity to learn what planets look like in the sky. When you observe Venus and Jupiter, you can easily see that Venus is brighter than Jupiter, thanks to its closer proximity to Earth and its very reflective clouds. Not every sky event is a big or momentous one or one of a kind or hasn't been seen in 20,000 years or something. Sometimes we just want to point out something beautiful or easy to see in the event. You want to see what it looks like in the real sky. Now, people on Earth have looked to the sky to help them figure out what is going on, what things mean, and what the future might hold. And for many, conjunctions of two planets were and are a part of that meaning making. If you'd like to connect yourself to the people of the past and others around the world now, we want you to go out and try to spot this conjunction. Now, we've been watching Venus and Jupiter appear closer together in Earth's sky for several days. I spotted them the morning of April 27th. I want to show you, I took a picture, so I want to show you what that looks like. So give me just a second to do that. And I took this picture from just down the street where I live, and I was fortunate to be able to see the moon as well. So what we have here is we've got Jupiter is the one on the left, Venus is the brighter one on the upper right, and I caught the crescent moon behind some electrical wires off in the distance, but I got to see them just as they were starting to rise in the morning. So it would be really pretty right now if you could see it in the Chicago area or in the Kenosha area or in the Elgin area, but the clouds are in the way. But the moon also would not be here. So the moon has already moved in its orbit. We're getting close to new moon, so we won't see the moon as part of this grouping. But you will see these closer together than how they appeared a couple days ago. If you stick your thumb out at arm's length and close one eye and hold it up to where the planets are, they were a little more than the distance of the width of my thumb apart. That's a little more than 2 degrees in the sky. Tomorrow morning and Sunday morning, they're going to be about 1/4 the diameter of my thumb apart. So they will have moved definitely closer together. They probably won't appear to have merged together, but they definitely will be closer together. So let's learn more about how to see this in the sky. I'm going to check real quick and see if there are any questions in the chat. And give me a second. And oh, thank you. I'm glad you all love the photo. So if anybody has any questions about the conjunction, throw them in the chat. I will answer them throughout the show. So let's dive into where and when to see these. All right. So I'm going to move on. Oh, and Ona says Venus and Jupiter conjunct, new moon in Taurus. So that would be the direction of where the constellation where the moon will be in the sky. Can't see new moon, but we know it's there. Partial solar eclipse. Yes, there is a partial solar eclipse. Unfortunately, it's not visible for most of the planet. It's visible for part of South America and part of the southern Pacific Ocean. And Mercury is out there as well. And Ona says, big fun. I agree, big fun. Oh, Karen has a fabulous question. I've gotten this question before. Roughly how close do two planets have to appear before it's considered a conjunction? There really isn't a hard and fast rule. It's basically when one planet, when it's closest to how the two appear. So whatever that distance is, that's a conjunction. But in practical terms, I would say if it's about the distance of the width of your thumb in the sky, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. And so that would be pretty good to say. If it's any farther than that, we probably wouldn't point it out as being something significant to look at. So let's just say, for conversation's sake, about the width of your thumb apart. That's pretty decent. And these will be 1/4 that distance. And Karen just gave it a thumbs up. So that's fabulous. Okay, so let us go to Stellarium, which is our favorite online star map. And if you are not familiar with Stellarium, it is stellarium-web.org. And this is a free online star map where you can see what the sky is going to look like. And if you're in the central time zone and you're watching this program live on April 29th, 2022, and it's clear out near the eastern horizon where you are, you can go outside right now and look for the planets. If you're watching us on your phone, take us outside and go look for the conjunction. If it's not clear out, stay inside, stay in bed. It's totally cool. But let me know in the chat if you're actually able to see it. Angela in Washington, you're going to have to wait a couple hours for this to actually rise. But get ready for it. So what we're looking for is planets off in the east. And so here I've got the Stellarium set up for this morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning. So if you click over here on the lower right-hand portion of the screen, you can bring up the date and the time. So I have it set. Usually this time clock is moving. I paused it. So I just clicked the little icon right here. And if we move it to exactly what time it is, so 5:11 in the morning, then you can take a look and see the sun is going to be coming up in the northeast, and we've got Venus and Jupiter in the sky. I'm going to roll inward, and you can see where they are. So they are pretty close together. Venus is still the brighter one, a little bit to the upper right. Jupiter is to the lower left. Now, you may have also noticed that we've got Mars and Saturn in the sky as well at the same time. They're going to be dimmer. One of the things on Stellarium is the bigger the dot on the screen, the brighter the object is in the sky. So if you take a look, Venus is going to be a bigger dot, Jupiter a little bit smaller, Mars smaller, and Saturn smaller. By smaller just means dimmer. But in reality, it's going to be really easy to pick these out. There's nothing else in the sky that will be brighter. And also, if you're wondering, there's no single best place to go see these. All you need is a clear view to the east or to the southeast. If there's some trees or buildings or whatever in the way, you might need to go find a clear space. Otherwise, if you have a clear view and it's a little bit above the horizon, you may be able to see these. All right, so what's going to happen over the next couple days is we're going to go to tomorrow morning, April 30th, at about 45 minutes prior to local sunrise. So here in Chicago, that's about 5:45-ish, 6 a.m.-ish, somewhere around there. So about 45 minutes prior to your local sunrise, that's when you want to go out. And if I roll inward, you can see how close together these objects really are in the sky, or how close they appear. If we go to May 1st, you can see that Venus and Jupiter have switched their locations as they have moved in the solar system. As we've moved in the solar system, they've moved a little bit, but you'll still be able to tell which one's which, because Venus is still going to be the brighter of the two. But this is something that you can use to figure out where to look, when to look, and what they're going to look like. All right. If you have a telescope or a pair of binoculars, let me show you real quick what you can expect to see. You don't need one for this, but there we go. So we've got our finder chart here for which one's which for April 29th. But if you've got a telescope or a pair of binoculars, this is what it's going to look like. Low magnification telescope and higher power binoculars. So you've got Jupiter over here, Venus over here, and you'll see a gibbous Venus. Venus goes through phases like our moon does. Jupiter, you'll see Jupiter, maybe not quite this detailed, but you'll see some of the moons of Jupiter as well. So this is the view on April 30th. So Saturday morning, if it happens to be clear where you are. If it happens to be clear on Sunday morning, May 1st, then you'll see gibbous Venus over here, Jupiter over here. And your view might be flipped. It might be upside down, depending on if you're looking for binoculars or looking through binoculars or a telescope. So keep that in mind. Just remember, Venus will be the brighter one. Jupiter will be the one with the moons, if you're not sure which one's which. All right. So let me check real quick and see if there are any questions in the chat. This is going to be a pretty easy sky phenomenon for you to see. So we wanted to point this out. So if you're watching us after we record this, yeah, just take us outside as you go outside to look. I hope it's clear where you are. You'll be able to get to see this over the next couple days. But if you don't, one thing that is coming up at the middle to latter part of June, we'll be able to see all 5 planets in the sky in the morning at the same time. They won't be close together, but you'll be able to see Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, actually in that order, in the morning sky, again, about 45 minutes-ish prior to sunrise at your local time. So right around June 15th to maybe around June 27th, and the moon will be joining the group for that set of dates as well. Angela asks, is it possible to know how often it happens? For the Venus-Jupiter conjunction, approximately every year. For all 5 planets in the sky at the same time, it takes a few years for that to happen. It can be as little as maybe about 3 years. It can be as much as maybe about 10 years. It depends on primarily where Jupiter and Saturn are in the solar system. So the last one was, I believe, the last time we saw this maybe about a year or 2 ago, but it was only visible for maybe a day or 2. It was not visible for a long period of time. So it varies, but it can be quite a bit longer period of time before you see all 5 planets in the sky at the same time. So we're looking forward to that one. All right. Any other questions before we end for today? Told you it's going to be a quick one. This is something that super simple for you to go out and see. No special binoculars or telescope required. One thing, please remember, if you are looking with telescope or binoculars, if the sun comes up while you're looking, stop using the telescope and binoculars immediately. We do not want you to accidentally sweep your scope or your binoculars across the sun. So definitely do not look for this past sunrise. It's good to stop before the sun comes up. You don't want to take any chances with that. All right. Hey, friends. This is a pretty fun one for me. 5 o'clock in the morning, I was hoping that we might be able here in the Chicago area to tell everybody, go outside and actually see this, but true to form in Chicago area, it's cloudy in the spring, so that's okay. We hope you get to see this over the next couple of days. I think we have you all excited to see Venus and Jupiter, so thank you so much for joining us this morning. And as always, we would love to hear about any time you are out connecting with the sky. Wait for the ending slide on this broadcast for the Adler Planetarium social media feeds. And when you see that, please use the hashtag #lookup and use one of our feeds and tell us if you get to see this conjunction over the next couple days. Send us some pictures if you happen to take some. And thank you for joining us and supporting our programming. We absolutely love sharing this time with you. Jennifer's going to link a feedback survey in the chat. It'll only take a short time to fill it out. If you have filled it out before, please do so again. Your comments help us improve the show, and your comments have told us, hey, you want to know about these really interesting, even smaller sky events, and your comments will help us make our show better. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and please keep looking up. Have a wonderful day.